friends. This is Brian Amick, and welcome to Episode 8 of Project 39. Our guest today is Gary Copeland. Gary's a lifelong resident of Jefferson County, and he's currently serving his first term on the County Council. He joins us today to talk about current issues going on in Jefferson County and what the Council is doing to address those. Be sure to follow Project 39 on Facebook for the latest information about the podcast. You can also find us on Instagram, or you can check the Project 39 website. I'll include links to all those in the show notes. If you like what you hear, please help us grow the show by sharing this with your friends and neighbors. All right, let's get to it. All right, Gary Copeland, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
All right, Gary. So you're a county councilman here in Jefferson County, is that right?
That's correct. County councilman at large.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Before we get into that, why don't you take a couple minutes and tell us a little bit more about yourself? Are you a native of Jefferson County?
Yes, I'm a lifelong resident of Jefferson County.
Okay.
I've worked out of Jefferson County at times, and I still work out of Jefferson County, but I live here. And my heart and soul is here, and I was raised on a farm. I'm a son of Donald and Carolyn Copeland. Okay. Some may know who that is.
What part of the county are you originally from?
I'm from Shelby Township.
And that is?
Well, that's out there by Canaan, and okay. It's kind of borders the Jefferson County, Switzerland County line.
Okay, about as far away from here where we are today as you
yes,
can get and still be in the county.
Graham Township is beautiful, though.
Yeah, we're at the other extreme of the county right now.
Right, at one end to the other, yes.
So, lifelong resident, family here too? Yes.
They're still, like I say, my mom and dad are still alive, and they're in their 80s now. And so they, I've tried to be as good as kid as I could. Yeah. I'm 58 years old. No spring chicken, I guess, but still feel good, and God has blessed me that way.
Awesome, good deal. So, grew up here. So, did you go to Madison High School then?
Yes, I'm a graduate of Madison High School. Yes, 1981.
81. And then after that, you went on to?
Well, I did a short stint in college, and that didn't really work for me too well. I was a little too immature at the time. Yeah. But I learned a lot in the year I was there, and I went into the workforce after that. So okay. I kind of knew at that time, what I was ready for, or it kind of showed me what I was ready for. How about that?
Yep. Oh, I get it. So now you're on county council. And
yes.
You're an at-large council. What is an at-large council?
Well, the only big difference between an at-large is that when we are voted on, we're voted on by the whole county.
So you don't represent a particular district?
Right. We just don't represent a district, but all the county council members are, just as important, and there's 7 of us, yes.
Okay. And this is your first term?
Yes. I've just been here about a year.
Okay, so
yes.
you're new at this too. Huh? Mm-hmm. Okay, and terms run 4 years? I'm assuming.
Yes.
And can you term limit out, or is it?
You know what? I don't know that. I don't know that answer. I don't think so.
Okay.
Because my predecessor that I took the place of, which I've always thought he was a good man, Joe Craig, he was there 28 years.
Okay. I guess not. Yeah.
So I don't think the council can, but right. Yeah.
Okay. So what's the county council do? I mean, what's kind of their area? What are their responsibilities?
Well, the definition, I guess, is that they have the ultimate decision-making on fiscal affairs and the allocation and expenditure of county funds. So I know that's the definition.
So but what's that mean then?
Well, okay. Well, we have a county budget every year, and a primary purpose of that is, all the different departments of the county, we have a say in their budget process.
Okay.
And how much, the tax money is going to go to each of those different departments. So it does have a pretty important aspect to the county taxpayer, what we would do.
So does all revenue coming into the county then funnel through the county council, and then it's parsed out in the budgets, operating budgets to each
Yes, as far as yes, right. I mean, all the tax money goes through there.
Okay.
And through it, and we, there's grant money and stuff like that comes in, but we have we operate with the money that's allotted to us to use.
Okay. And then, so you guys meet how often?
Right now, we meet once a month.
Okay.
But we may have a special meeting ever so often. We could jointly meet with the commissioners, or we could have an emergency, executive session meeting, or and a lot of us are on different boards throughout the county and city.
But you normally meet your typical county council meeting is once a month.
Yes.
And when and where does that take place?
At the emergency management meeting,
the new,
EMA building.
Dispatch center on Green Road,
yes.
up on the hilltop?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And do you remember when it is that you meet? Is there like first Thursday or something?
I think it's the second Tuesday of every month.
Second Tuesday?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Unless it's the fair or something like that, and then I think they move it back to the third week.
Okay. And if someone... So the meetings, I'm assuming, are open to the public? Anybody can show up?
Yes, there's always an open to the public situation, and we have to tape these meetings as well.
So, so you're recording your meetings. Where can a person find those?
Right now, you can find it on Jefferson County Community Television, and that's going to be shown on Facebook.
On Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll look up a link for that, and we'll include that with the show notes so people can get to it.
Okay.
Yeah, I did look at the county council's portion of the county website, and honestly, there's not a lot of information there. It's
they're working on that,
yeah.
And we've got that's one of our initiatives is to get better at that, and I think it's a nice website. Mm-hmm. It's got a lot of information, but we're working on getting it, improving that all the time.
Okay, yeah, that'd be helpful. It'd be nice if you guys could host the recordings yourselves, right, and not have to rely on a third party to distribute them. But
that is in the works, and it is being upgraded as we speak.
Okay, all right, we'll keep an eye out on that. So you guys take the revenues, take the monies coming in, disperse them to the different departments and things. So as a county council person, what are some of the big issues going on in Jefferson County right now?
Well, there's a lot of, I guess every issue is a big issue,
right?
But it depends on who you are and what you're looking at in county government. We've recently tackling a problem at the animal shelter, and we've hired a new administrator there, and we're hoping to improve that situation.
Can you elaborate any on that?
Well,
I hadn't heard of this one.
The administrator's been recently hired, so we've had a little struggle with the former situation.
Okay,
and we're trying to better that for the future. Okay. And I think we're on a big part of what we're doing is helping that situation immensely.
Okay,
and the city is involved in that too. So that's not just the county. Okay. So the city and the county are working on that together.
Okay. I didn't realize the animal shelter is kind of a joint operation of the city and county?
Yes.
Okay. That makes sense not to have two, I guess.
And, of course, you've always got other issues. You've always got road issues.
Mm-hmm.
You've always got, your county employees. How can you make their lives better? And, we've actually tried to do a lot with that this year, as much as we could.
With regard to
employee
benefits,
pay and stuff like that. It's not nothing to do cartwheels about, but it's definitely a start in the right direction.
Okay.
And so that's that. And then of course, you've got the big issues with the COVID federal grant money that comes through.
Yeah, that's something that I had written down here to ask about. So, yeah, there's been a lot of money tossed around lately from the federal government, state and local governments.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming Jefferson County. Well, I know Jefferson County got something. I can't remember how much.
This is public record. Jefferson County received $6.5 million.
$6.5 million. Okay.
And we're working on a lot of stuff that can help Jefferson County in a lot of different ways. A lot of that is still in discussion.
Okay.
And has not been, approved. It's a little different than the budget because the commissioners have a big say in this. We only can advise and go from there. But there's a lot of critical stuff that I think can really help the city and the county grow together.
So you get this money from the federal government. Are there any strings attached, or the limitations on what the county can use it for, or something they definitely cannot use it for?
Well, first off, it has to be, discussed and allocated in the right way. And, there's use of funds. You can use it for public health. I do believe that it is probably has to be proportioned out to certain things like, your county fire departments, your premium pay to employees, water infrastructure, revenue replacement, and administration and things like broadband internet. These things, have to be addressed.
Okay.
And that's not that this stuff doesn't come cheap.
No, nothing's cheap. So what are some of the things that they are looking to do?
Well, I think broadband internet probably is a no-brainer. Okay, it's going to happen.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm all for that. Yeah. Living out here, let me see, we've got basically one option for broadband. Well, two if you count like the satellite, like HughesNet, but they're not not ideal by any means. So we basically have one option, and our internet service goes out. Well, it's not daily. It used to be daily. Now it's maybe a couple times a week. So yeah, any improvements that could be made there would be great. It's frustrating because where we're sitting right now, if you look through that window, you can see the fiber optic box, but it's on the other side of the creek, so we can't get it. So my service has to come in from the other direction. That gives us one option from there. So
well, we're still in a transitional period with some people, and I understand that, because our young people, they're so ahead of us in a lot of ways, with computers and their phones that it makes us wonder if we really need it. But going forward in the next 10, 20 years, it's going to be just as probably important as your refrigerator or your stove.
Well, and it kind of is now. Sometimes you hear people, talking about, or I hear myself complain about, poor broadband service or poor internet access. It sounds like, you're complaining about a luxury, but it's not a luxury anymore. So many people working at home. We're sitting here in my basement recording this, and my wife's upstairs, working, and she's worked from home. It's not a COVID thing. She's worked from an office here in the house for years. It's where we get information. It's where it's your
right. Yeah.
It sounds dramatic, say your lifeline, but it really is. Yeah. It's more than just watching movies on Netflix. It's
I hate to use the word lifeline, but it kind of is when it comes to emergency management. It kind of is when it comes to if you do work, if that's your job, it's kind of a lifeline to your paycheck. And as bad as I yearn for some of the things in the past, we're all going to have to adapt to what it takes to move with the technological revolution in the way that helps us, not hurts us.
Well, and in this part of the county, so was it spring of 2020 when COVID was ramping up in the schools, like pretty much didn't go back after spring break. So all these kids out here, some of them have. We're fortunate we do have some broadband access, but you go just down down the road just a short ways, and there's families who don't have any.
Right.
And the county, I'm sorry, not the county, but the Madison School District was bringing a bus out here and parking down here at the church because the bus has Wi-Fi access, and the kids could, pull up in a car, access that internet access to download and upload and download their homework and their assignments, and then go home and work on them offline. But I mean, that's just. It's all
right.
It's a shame that in this.
Well, people fill out applications for work through the computer. Like I say, it's people order their goods and services now.
Places there's not an option
and
other than internet
so
to do stuff.
It's important to keep people's goods and services, just like it was important, I guess, when the telephones first came around. To be able to communicate, to make your life as easy and accessible as you can.
That's a tough one though, because I know that what's the state of Indiana, one of their initiatives that came out like maybe 2 years ago was in bringing broadband to rural areas. So I don't know how you guys coordinate that with multiple agencies working on it. You have to work together if we're working against each other.
Right. I think once you get the infrastructure of the lines done, which is going to be mostly federal money to have that done, you're pretty much set, and except for repairs, it's something that is not going to have to be done all the time.
Right.
And so that's as far as how that links in the government, it's a big movement to get it done. But once you're done with it, you can move on to something else.
Yeah.
And of course we've got other things, just like the equipment for the highway department, the sheriff's office. And, we're building a new jail, of course. And so that's going to have to be dealt with, and dealt with in the right way. So we do it right. We don't do it wrong.
So what are the plans for the old sheriff's office and jail when they move to the new one on the hill?
Well, that's in discussion now.
Okay.
And there's that hasn't been completely, at least not to my knowledge, understood how that's going to be finalized, but they're working on a way that it'll not be it'll be a building that's still accessible and useful.
Okay, all right. And so it's still going to stay in part of the county.
Yes, as far as I know.
Okay. So besides broadband and some of the things, some highway department equipment and things. It's $6.5 million. So
right, and it's still in discussion.
Do more than that. Okay.
We're still in the guts of it.
Okay.
So we gotta get through it and get it taken care of. Water infrastructure, big thing. I hope that we get it worked out. I hope that the city and county can come together on this, because it really helps everybody ultimately.
Right.
And that's a big one that we've got to get taken care of. It's still not completely done, but we're working on it, and hopefully we can come to agreement that keeps our city and county in unison moving forward.
Yeah, because from what I understand, some of the water districts in the county purchase their water from the city of Madison.
Well, the way that works, and I'm going to talk in general terms.
Right.
I'm not going to talk data right now, but rate studies are still being done, and that's coming to a close here pretty soon. We're going to know which way that's going to go. But my personal stand, and I believe there's a lot of the elected officials in both city and the county, honestly, that feel this way, is that we don't want to raise your water bill if we don't have to.
Right.
Now, slight raises can happen just like normal. Just like you get a slight raise here on your electric bill or something like that, but not we don't want to. At least I don't want to see that bill go up.
Right.
In a big proportion.
Right. Small incremental increases.
Well, just the normal
needed. Right?
Yeah, that we have to do for that. The local water companies have to do for their maintenance and stuff like that. But we don't need big increases on the consumer right now. The consumer in this county and in this country is being hammered right now, and anything I can do to keep that from happening in Jefferson County, I'm going to do.
Okay. Well, we appreciate that. So, yeah. So now that you've been into the city council for a while.
The county council.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I'm sorry. Yeah, now that you've been on county council for a while and got to see some of the things that are going on a little more up close and get some more firsthand information, I always ask people this question, when you wake up at 2 a.m, what is it that keeps you from getting back to sleep?
Well, most of the stuff, currently I work at a distribution center in Seymour, and that's when I get up to go to work. But
okay.
But if I can't sleep, most of the stuff that bothers me is stuff that happens basically nationally. Okay. I worry for our country.
Okay.
Where we're at right now, and I'm not gonna go political on you in any way there. I'm just gonna say we got a lot of issues we got to get past to make America what I think every American wants it to be, and that is a strong nation, a sovereign nation, and a nation that's we can agree to disagree again. We're not there right now.
Right. No, and what you say, I think a lot of people would agree with that. Sometimes it's just the path we take to get there, where people don't see eye to eye, and it seems even worse now.
Yeah, that would probably be what it is. There's always issues locally that can bother you. But I think all local governments right now, if they be honest, are struggling with what state and federal issues are, and I worry for our. I think we have some fine school systems in this county. All of them are fine institutions. But what they're the burden that they're under, it's tough. It's tough for these, and we want our children to be as comfortable as they can until adulthood comes so fast.
Yeah,
and so it's our responsibility to make this county as good as we can until they get to that point.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then kind of along those same lines then, so by some method, whatever, you become all-powerful for a day and you can fix anything you want. What if you had the power, what would you change?
Well, you mean locally?
Anything.
Okay.
Culturally, politically, locally, nationally.
Yeah.
But,
I would like to see a resonance of economic development that really starts to kick our economic engine again.
Okay.
Not that I've always said there's jobs, but not everybody can do every job.
Right.
But there's people who are good at this, and there's people who's good at that. And if I could do that, have a small part in getting that done. That would be the pinnacle of any kind of community or service achievement that I'd want to do.
Yeah, that makes sense. And economic development is something that I have talked to some other people I've had on the show about. And even people off the show I've talked to, and there's this argument. Do we get the economic development and you get the jobs and the people and the money and that makes a nice community, or do you build the nice community and then that brings the jobs and the people? Or How do you do it? I mean, it's
that's it. You do that together.
Yeah,
you do that with your community, with your religion, or your, like you say, your community organizations. That has to be a constant.
Mm-hmm.
That cannot go away. However, we all need money to be sustainable, so that we can have the freedom to do those kind of things,
mm-hmm.
and to do those kind of things well. And that all that stuff goes together. There's not one before the other. But the only thing about Jefferson County, I would say, is that Jefferson County maybe needs to speed up its goals
Mm-hmm.
as far as economic development, because Jefferson County has such a beautiful area, and we're doing well with tourism, but we want to sustain tourism.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ways you can sustain tourism is with economic development.
Yeah.
And it lifts all ships, and
right.
you become your options get better all the time
right.
when you can have the kind of revenue that sustains these things, and not just tourism, sustains organizations, schools,
mm-hmm.
and clubs, and things that people like to do, and no fire department should be, or of any community should be lacking.
Right.
Those kind of things should be solid
mm-hmm.
as a rock. So you want to get all that kind of stuff shored up, but to sustain it, you have to have a certain level of economic development.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it takes a group of people, whether it's elected officials or people in the community who want to step up and, form committees to reach out to businesses outside of Jefferson County to come here,
mm-hmm.
and then I think they should do it, and should do it quickly.
Do you think there's any one particular thing holding Jefferson County back?
Well,
and I'm putting you on the spot here. And
yeah, that's okay. I wouldn't have done this if I wouldn't have be on the spot. I think we're moving into, like I say, a new day of how we used to do things. Jefferson County was, and it still is. I want the farmers to be just as proficient in what's left of farming mm-hmm. as they can be. Mm-hmm. And we do have some great farms around Jefferson County, but a lot of people don't have the access to that. A lot of people don't. And unfortunately, the farming jobs, a lot of them are, if they're, it'd be different if we had big ranches where we mm-hmm. can employ 200 or 300 people, but we don't. Basically those farms are small family farms for the most part, or they're farms that are, farmed out by people who rent the ground.
Right.
And stuff like that. So we have a small metro community plus a rural community that they have to work somewhere. And I don't want these children, if they want to work here, I want them to be able to work here. I don't want them to have to drive 2 hours to go to work. Now, it doesn't mean that we have to make so much economic development here we can't sustain it. I believe with anywhere from 500 to 1,000 jobs, new jobs, mm-hmm. can sustain Jefferson County in the next 25 to 30, maybe even 50 years, depending on what these jobs are. But we need to, and I would say this, I would say this to all elected officials, you need to think that way. In order to make the good things in Jefferson County sustainable, because think of what some things could be if you have people in this county who can make anywhere from $20 to $25 an hour or more, you know, the revenue that will just, I mean, it just makes the schools better. It makes everything better. Now, there's always good and bad people. I want to make that clear. You know, you make your way. Everybody's, charged with making their way. So, you know, it doesn't take care of everything. There's always going to be problems. But if we can come to some kind of agreement to where that's the next big step, then that's going to be great, because we can make Jefferson County the envy of at least southern Indiana.
Yeah.
If we can, and we have the land now to do that without disturbing other people's property.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a tough one.
But you got to go. You got to get out there and reach out. You got to, just like it's like you'd say in a club or an organization. Hey, let's get some more people in our club and organization. We got to reach out to them.
Yeah.
We got to reach out to some businesses.
Yeah.
That means going and visit them and say, hey, come to Jefferson County. We think you're the right fit.
Yeah. It's hard, and it's hard to spend the money to get things in place to attract them when
And yes, I don't mean to interrupt you, but we do have some good businesses, of course.
Yeah.
You know, it's been there for years and stuff, but we can't put all the burden on them to.
Right. There's only so much growth that
only so much growth that they can sustain right now.
Yeah.
So we need to get into whoever's in charge of the big picture, we need to get in tune with them.
Yeah. When I lived in Tennessee, and I may have discussed this on an episode earlier with someone else, but anyway, the county that I lived in down there, the economic development board, whatever they were, they would actually go out and secure the land, not buy the land, but go out to the farmers where they thought was an area that was ripe for development, and they were paying the farmers so much per year. You get to go ahead and keep farming the land. We're going to pay you so much every year, but when we get a tenant, when we get somebody that's wanting to come in, we're going to till your corn under, and we're going to break ground. We're going to start. But in the meantime, they're also building roads, bringing power to that area. Water, putting in water storage tanks, things like that. There's merit. They're ready to go.
Right,
but it's a lot of money up front.
There's merit to that. Yeah. I'm not saying there's not, but we have an industrial park.
Yeah.
And we've got to utilize that, and that doesn't disturb anybody else's business.
Right.
And so we've got the best of both worlds. We just got to make it. We just got to make it happen.
Yeah. It's a tough one,
because the revenue that brings, it raises people's wages. It enhances everything financially. And that's up to the good people of Jefferson County to everything else to make their life better, and that's their business and that's their freedom.
Yeah, and one thing you touched on or you mentioned there that is something that I kind of feel strong about. It's the young people, those who want to stay here, giving them something or a means to be able to stay here. I mean, if you grow up here and you decide, Jefferson County's not big enough for me, and you want to go off somewhere else, more power to you. But if you grow up here and you appreciate and you love this area, we got to have a way for those people to be able to
absolutely
start a family, buy a home, and
absolutely
and live here comfortably.
If you're if you've got a child or a grandchild that makes the big time, super. I'm super happy for you. But if you've got a child or a grandchild that wants to make it here, then let's make a superstar out of them here.
Yeah.
And let's learn to, if we can, to be proud of that again, because that's what makes America, special, is that, you can bloom where you're planted if you want to be, or you can go away and do that somewhere else. Yeah. And like I say, there's all kinds of people. But we have a group of young people, I believe, that may possibly struggle with willpower, and that's not all their fault. We and this is going back a minute, but willpower is something that you got to be taught, and it probably needs to be more on the forefront. But it's a lot of kids today don't have that, and they don't have access to learning that, and that's a sad reality. And I feel for them.
Yeah, I get it, and I always feel like the angry old man or something when we have these conversations, but it does seem different than when.
Well, it really is. I mean, we're not. This is not our grandpa and grandma's.
And we can't paint all of them with the same brush, right?
Right. You can't paint it with the same brush.
After we were talking earlier before we started recording, I was telling you about my work career. After I retired, I did spend a year teaching high school here in the county, and it reaffirms some things that you might have thought, and it dispels some things you might have thought too. There's some really sharp, really good kids who have a lot on the ball out there. There's some real.
Well, we have a let's not hide it. We have and every county does. Every county and every city in this country does. Struggles with drugs or something like that. And we want to push that to the side, but it's a problem we have to deal with it. Yeah. So we want to get to a point. I want to see a day, hopefully, someday where we get to a point where you're never going to get rid of all the problems.
No,
but we get to a point where that is not an issue that we really have to deal with, like we're having to deal with it today.
Yeah.
And
I'm also sure that my grandparents looked at me and my generation and said, oh, we're doomed. It's over. And that's what I mean. It's a never give up attitude. Yeah. And I know it sounds a little trite and commonplace, but I think we need leaders and even in our little community that portray that to the young people so that they can make their way. Yeah.
And they can overcome the problems that they have to overcome and be successful, and then help the next generation.
Right. So now you've gotten involved in local government, and just talking to you, you can tell you've got a lot of thoughts about other things too. Have you considered anything beyond, pursuing office beyond the local level?
Well, I would keep my options all open, but I would like to keep it local.
Okay.
I really don't want to. I don't want to live in. Nothing wrong with our state capital or anything like that, but I have no desire to move up north or to go to Washington D.C. I just want the best for Jefferson County. I'm prepared to live here till my last breath.
Okay.
And I that's just me. I don't want to leave, and I want to make it better.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No, that's fair. That's really about all I had kind of planned for us to talk about, Gary. So is there any way people can contact you? If anybody has any issues that they'd like to bring before the county council or just to get more information? The county council has a website, right? It's part of the Jefferson County government.
Right. You can go there, but I am on Facebook, even though I'm not as proficient as I wish as some of the younger people, but I'm on it, and they can get me there, and I'll put out my phone number.
Okay.
Area code 812-701-8544. And they can, like I say, they can go to me on Facebook, or they can text or call me. I'm open to that because I really do care what people think.
Okay.
Even if they disagree with me.
Well, you can't represent them if you don't.
Right. Now, I don't have my own website yet, but that's not. I'll keep my options open on that.
Well, if you don't mind, I'll look up your Facebook page and I'll link to that in the show notes.
Sure.
And
sure.
also include the county, your section on the Jefferson County website.
Yeah.
We'll get that there too.
Yeah.
And include your phone number so everybody will have it if they need anything.
And they might have to put chairs outside, but I'd like to see, more people come to the meetings.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. I know most people are tired, and at night that's tough to make it.
Right. Yeah.
But come to the meetings.
Yeah, unfortunately, the only people who show up is people who've got an axe to grind.
Right. But, yeah, but we want to. I'm just a big believer in transparency, and that's.
That's good because I don't think I don't. Yeah, it's crazy with all the avenues we have now with online options and stuff. It seems like transparency is probably less than it.
Right, and I'm a little old fashioned this way. Face to face call. I'm all for that.
Yeah.
I'm not. Because I love this fight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I challenge other elected officials. I'm a little different that way.
Okay.
I don't want to say I enjoy all of it, but I love the battle for making things better.
Okay. Well, that's good. All right. That's pretty much all I had, Gary. Was there anything that you were hoping we'd talk about that we didn't get to cover? Anything you want to reiterate?
I think we might have covered it all. I think we're doing as a government as a whole, Jefferson County government, and the city of Madison. I think we're doing as good as we can. I'd like to see a little bit more collaboration, maybe some more subcommittees, to hammer out problems a little quicker. But there's that's. I mean, we're doing the best we can. We may not always agree on things, but we're doing the best we can. I just want to I'm not trying to promote him or anything like that, but I really believe Bobby Courtney is doing a fantastic job in the city of Madison. And I don't say that to put a feather in his cap. I just see what I've seen in the last year.
Yeah.
And we're on the crest of great things in the city and the county. We've just got to have the courage to take the next step.
Yeah. I can't disagree. It does seem like we might be getting there, But, like I say, just got to get over the hump now.
Yes, it takes a little bit of risk and courage sometimes.
All right. Well, Gary, I appreciate you coming by, taking the long drive out here, and giving me your time to sit down and talk. And wish you the best of luck.
All right, thank you very much, Brian. I've enjoyed it.
All right, take care.